tough act to follow. My name's Kevin Kelly. I'm going to talk about it from a business perspective. I think first, let me tell you about my background and where my outdoor ethic came from. And it really came from three areas. One is my family. Certainly your parents guide your way in life. In particular, my grandmother had a cabin up at Mount Lassen. I spent my summers up there. My grandmother had a great way. I was youngest of 5 kids. She would get us up early in the morning. It'd be cold mornings. She'd feed all 5 of us food. And then she would tell us to go outside, and she locked the door. She would not let us back inside. She would open the, and that's where I learned to go to the bathroom outside. She'd come out and feed us lunch. She'd feed us dinner, and then she'd let us back in at the end of the day. It was a great experience. Next was Boy Scouts. I didn't make Eagle Scout, one of my big regrets, but I took a leadership role in scouting. Scouting offered me that camping experience. I did 2 50-mile hikes. I really learned how to plan ahead for weather. I used a lot of Coleman product. And so scouting, I really think, is important. I'm disappointed to see where scouting has really waned off in the last 10 or 15 years. And then third, I'll give my credit to my first summer job. I grew up about 5 miles from here in Marin County. My first summer job was at Muir Woods. And so I started making sandwiches when I was 15 for the concessionaire there. And I did it for the money. It was a great paying job. And I worked at Muir Woods for 4 years in high school and 4 years in college. I was so broke out of college that I took all of 72 hours off and became an assistant manager at Muir Woods. And that's where Mia Monroe, who's still at Muir Woods as a park ranger, as the site superintendent, she said, Kevin, the first thing you have to do is take Introduction to Resource Management. Who would have thunk? And it really, it helped me understand the mission and vision of the National Park Service. And I've taken that ethic with me as I've grown up in this business of concessions. So I just thought it was important to set the table that way. I work for Delaware North. We're a Buffalo-based, privately owned company. The Jacobs family is 3rd generation is running it. I think you'll notice in the concessions business, a lot of the big operators, actually most of the operators, are privately held. There's no publicly traded companies out there. And it's that risk-reward, thinking short-term is what corporate America likes to do, making revenue in the quarter for the quarter. It really takes a much longer view to be involved in the parks, in this outdoor venue. So I think you'll see a lot of companies that look like Delaware North. The way we describe our company is stewardship and hospitality in special places. Hospitality, that's the goods and services we provide on your behalf as a contractor. That's the food and beverage, the retail, the lodging. We do a lot of recreation. We actually do paid interpretation programs. It's all that interacting with the guest. The stewardship part is just the things you have to do to be in a park, in a special setting. So like Terry McRae was saying last night, that ISO 9001, 14001, 18,000 and some change. I don't know how much that was. So stewardship we define as stewardship of the environment, and that's our Green Path program, which is an environmental management system. It's stewardship of interpretation, and really that's our commitment to wherever the special places that we're in, we tell that story. And then finally it's stewardship of the historic buildings or artifacts. You know, when you run a place like Kennedy Space Center, the buildings aren't old, but the artifacts are very important. But in this case, it's all those things apply to everything we operate in. So it's Yosemite, it's Yellowstone. We just took over the Queen Mary as a management company, so that's a historic ship, but also providing hospitality. We run Niagara Falls State Park. We're at Kennedy Space Center. We also learned that this approach of special places also applies in owned assets. So we've gone out and bought some special places. So we own some resorts that tend to be in destination markets. Last year, Delaware North bought 4 resorts in Australia that are very much special places. One piece of property only has 40 units on it, lodging units. It's a 1 million acre piece of property that we got in Australia. 2 of them are on the Great Barrier Reef, and 1 is near Ayers Rock. So again, that storytelling, we believe is important.